Hi everyone. I've really enjoyed making these YouTube videos, and I found it actually very helpful in my own teaching, and I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you might call up 38 of your most favorite friends and tell them to subscribe to the channel. I use so much of the information that we're talking about constantly in my own playing and my own teaching, and I thought it would be fun. We'll do kind of a pop quiz of just playing a small section of a Chopin scherzo to see how frequently I use these ideas and also how much they overlap. So this is the second Chopin scherzo, and I'm just going to play a small excerpt of it, and I'm going to stop and talk and reference the other videos I've made so you can again see how that these things are applied just constantly. The scherzo starts this way. Now, that motion I made, already refers to two other videos, or at least two other ideas. So when I started, there was a preparatory motion, and there was momentum, both in the release of the note and in the preparation to play the note. So I didn't start in a frozen position, which refers to that video I'd made, which had the clip from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. So there's a small preparatory motion. Now, when I got here, I completely freeze my hands, and I want the audience to recognize the power of that silence. I made another video talking about the importance of listening to silent. You may remember, if you've seen these, where if you respell the word listen, you get the word silent. So now there I have both a jump and a parallel motion, and in the jump you'll notice in my hands that in the air they make this motion. It's the same motion I make if I'm catching a ball. I'm grabbing something out of the air. What I'm not doing is this, with kind of stiff frozen fingers. And you'll also notice that it's a big exposed jump. It's not hugely difficult because there's quite a bit of time between the low and the high. But you'll notice that my left hand got there before my right hand. And do you remember we talked about the neurology of the brain, and that when the hands move at the same time, your brain actually works slightly more efficient if you can make one hand arrive slightly ahead of the other. You'll also notice that when I played this, what did my wrist do when it kept moving? And this relates to that video which was called The Engine of All Piano Technique, in which I talk a lot about the wrist. And I, more than once, to put it politely, I've seen a student play this, and their wrist is frozen and locked. It's a kind of death sentence for their technique, because they're going to be so tight. And, you know, when you're on stage performing, your body's already going to be a little bit tight to begin with. So I'm always looking to make sure that my wrist is relaxed. At the same time, I get a much bigger sound. Also, I've made some videos where I talk about the bow in the arm, which I jokingly called the bow, elbow. And as I'm playing this, following through, I do the same motion when I'm playing very slowly, but in this case I'm doing the same thing, and this refers to that Tai Chi video I made, where I talked about the I'm moving now very fast, and in this case I'm moving very fast but in slow motion. This is now just everything sped up. There's a lot of technique involved in that, and I'm a big believer that technique is basically two things. Yes, one, very important, physiological, But a second part that's just as important, if not more important, is mental. It's an understanding of how to move at the piano. Because what is technique? It's the ability to do whatever you want, whatever you want to. I remember as maybe an 18-year-old playing for my first college teacher, Chopin's Second Sonata, and in the second page, it's really hard. And I said to my teacher, "Oh, this part's so hard for me." And he laughed. He said, "It's hard for everybody." But what was not in my strong enough understanding was how to solve the technical problems, because technique for me at that point was more physiological and not enough mental understanding. So I'm hoping that these videos can give you some strong mental understanding of how to solve problems. And again, what is practicing? It's problem solving.